Hi, I realized that a lot of my DIY projects involve sewing and that maybe there's a lot of you out there who don't know anything about sewing. So I wanted to do some little mini videos. I think I'm just gonna do like a little series of videos showing you some things I know about sewing and like the basic stitches that I use when I'm doing DIY projects, like any stitch that I use when sewing on any of the projects I've done so far or will do. I'll do a little video before or after showing you how to do the stitch. I really do want to make my DIYs easy for you to do, even if you aren't generally a craft inclined person. The first thing I'm just going to be showing you is how to thread a needle. Pretty simple, but in case you don't know. And the basic straight stitch that I use most all the time. I hope it helps you. If you already know how to sew, feel free not to watch this video. So let's just get started. The first thing that you will need are a pair of scissors, some pins maybe, some thread. I like to use Gutermann brand thread. I believe it's a cotton thread coated with a polyester finish. I don't know, I think it works really well. And then you'll need a needle, obviously, and some fabric. So you're going to start by pulling out some thread and just cutting it off. I like to sew with the thread doubled because I think it makes for a stronger stitch. You don't have to do that, but that's what I'm showing you how to do today. So it's pretty simple. You're just going to want to take the end of the thread and stick it through the eye of the needle. It's just that little hole at the end of the needle. And it might take a few tries, but that's okay. You'll get it eventually, hopefully. If you're confused at this point, you might want to ask a real live person for help. But then you're just going to pull the ends of the thread together so they match up and tie a little loop knot like this. Is this a slip knot? I don't know. This kind of knot. I usually do it double for extra strength. Then you'll want to take your fabric, and I'm just using this little piece of scrap fabric to show you, but I just pinned it together on one end. And then you'll take your needle and stick it through the two pieces of fabric and pull it until the knot comes to the end. Then turn it over and just stick it through a little bit over. So you're making your first stitch, and just pull the thread through just like that. It's pretty simple, really. Then you're back on the back side and you just stick the needle in again a little bit over, about the same length that you did the first time, and pull the thread through. And then you flip it over again and do the same thing, and then you just keep doing that until you reach the end of your fabric. And eventually you'll probably be able to do this without flipping it over every time. You can just do it, from the feel of the fabric and the needle, and you won't have to flip it over. But if you're a beginner, it's okay. It might take a little longer, but it still gets the job done. And there you have it. And then if you do this type of stitch again, you can just go in and out of the fabric like this for a bigger stitch. And this type of stitch can be used as a basting stitch, which is the type of stitch that I used on my peplum skirt peplums. It's just like a really loose stitch that you can use to like pull the thread tighter than usual, and then it bunches up like that, as you can see. So that might be a little bit advanced for this tutorial, but I'm showing you anyway. And then the last thing you're going to want to do is to make the knot and finish off the thread. So you want to go into the fabric and just make a little stitch and then have a loop like this. So you don't pull the thread all the way through, and you just have a loop, and then you take your needle and go through that loop, catching the loop you're making with your finger. So you pull that first loop tight, but now you have another loop, and then you're going to take your needle and stick it through that loop. And this will make a secure little knot, hopefully. And then you can just cut it off, and I like to take the two ends of the thread and tie them in a regular knot together just for extra security. And then you can just trim off the ends. And that's it. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.